appears with regulating. I mean in this clause.
It comes to pricing. But when it comes to fees that are earned by the authority or the commission, they determine it. But when it comes to pricing, they regulate. Because it's not every aspect that has to do with pricing. There are some fees, they determine their fees.
Okay, so only you. Only you. Okay. So the other V and X remain the way they are, right? Okay. We stopped at 38, 34, sorry, 34. So those in favor of those clauses as amended, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 35, 36, 37, 38, 39 and 40. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 41, authority, chief executive and executive directors of the authority. Clause 41, (42) employees of the authority. 43, 44, 45, all retained. Which clause? 43 is not labeled. What do you mean not labeled? Oh, okay. It's all right. It's okay. So 44, 45, 46, 47 fund of the authority. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 48 is on page 65. 48. Senator Balan Allah. Okay, so can somebody second the amendment? Senator Keita.
Thank you. I remain Senator Ahmed Keita. I rise to second the motion of amendment ably moved by Senator Bala Ibn Allah.
Those in favor that clause 48 as amended stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 49, special powers of the authority. Clause 50, Clause 51, indemnity. Clause 52, DSP.
Thank you, Mr. President. 52(7)D, subsection D. I'd like to amend it to read, sir. Yes, 72. 72, sir. That's a new insertion, 52(7)D. I'd like the amendment to read, monies received from gas flaring penalties by the Commission pursuant to this subsection shall be for the purpose of environmental remediation and relief of the host communities of the settler companies on which the penalties are levied. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator, no, I didn't finish your name. Senator Betty Apiafi.
Mr. President, sitting on the chair, distinguished colleagues, my name is Betty Apiafi. I represent Rivers West Senatorial District. I'm from Rivers State. I rise to second the motion as moved by Deputy President. As to second. The amendment. Sorry.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that those clauses 49, 50, and 51 remains part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 52 as amended stands part of the bill, say aye. Sorry? 52? No, hold on. I have to put the amendment first, then you can amend it. But we have to vote on the amendment. Then you can amend it. Is that clear? Yeah, we have to pass, we have to vote. Oh, a section. Okay, which section is that? Yes, so which one do you want to amend? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Alu Sabi Abdullahi, Niger North. Mr. President, that is section 52, which is titled the Midstream Gas Infrastructure Fund. I would like to amend this to mean the Midstream and Downstream Infrastructure Fund rather than just the Midstream Gas Infrastructure Fund. And if this is taken, then consequentially, where we have Midstream Gas Infrastructure Fund, it will now read the Midstream and Downstream Infrastructure Fund. Yes, sir. The issue, sir, is that if you look at even the source of fund, you are talking about the midstream and downstream is actually looking at both the gas and then the petroleum sector. Now, the point is that in restricting it to only gas, the petroleum sector is left out. So we have to, because it's one commission, midstream and downstream commission. So the point is that we have to bring in, and if you check clause, the same clause, 7, sources of fund, you will see that it is said the source of the midstream gas infrastructure fund shall be as follows. A, not more than 1% of the above of the levy prescribed in a regulation under this act derived from wholesale price of petroleum products sold in Nigeria and natural gas produced and sold, that is section 52(7)(a). No, it's 52(7)(d) that he amended. So what I'm saying here is that if we leave it like this, that downstream in the petroleum industry is left out. And I don't think the intendment, when you decide to bring downstream and midstream together as a commission, then you shouldn't abandon the downstream as far as the petroleum industry is concerned. So this explains my
Senator Kabirga.
Mr. President, I'm Kabiru Gai, represent the people of Kano South from Kano State. I second the motion ably moved by the Deputy Whip. And the amendment ably moved by the Deputy Whip. Yes, sir.
No, for now there is no information. We are going to vote on the amendment. Oh, okay.
The chairman, colleague, the essence here is that the downstream petroleum sector has been fully infrastructure. The essence here is that despite the infrastructure you have in the downstream, if you don't build the midstream infrastructure, you cannot get gas to the downstream. So yes, so it is midstream gas infrastructure fund, not downstream. That's the essence of this bill.
No, it's okay. This is something that is going to be put to vote. But I can see where it's coming from, and I can see your point. But probably you need to do something here before you finally get the infrastructure from the midstream, isn't it? Fully to service the downstream. So those who have made the amendments, DSP, please, I need the amendment. Deputy Chief, you too, we need the amendments. Those in favor of clause 52 as amended, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 53 on page 76. Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. Clause 53. Senator Yusuf.
What we have here is that the minister shall within 6 months from the commencement of this act cause the shareholders indicated in 53C to incorporate under the Companies and Allied Matters Act a public limited liability company which shall be called Nigerian National Petroleum Company PLC.
Yes. Yes.
The amendment to be incorporated under, should be deleted, cause shareholders indicated in clause 53 subsection 3 to incorporate under Companies and Allied Matters Act a public limited liability company which shall be called Nigerian National Petroleum Company PLC. Yes.
Point of order, Mr. President. I rise to move a motion for this Senate to suspend its Order 13 in order to allow us to continue with our deliberations on this bill. I so move.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor of the motion that the Senate suspends its Order 13 to enable it sit beyond 2 p.m., say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Yusuf, I don't understand the amendment.
Sir, let me clarify the issue, sir. The amendment is to make the incorporation of the NNPC PLC by the shareholders. Instead of just the minister shall cause, what I'm saying that it should be NNPC PLC.
Thank you, Mr. President. There is no way we can just go ahead and establish Nigeria Petroleum Corporation, PLC. For you to do a PLC, there are procedures. So what we are saying here is let it be a limited liability company. Then when the time comes, because as a limited liability company, that's when you get the assets and the value of that company. And it's only when you get the value of the company that you go to the market. So this is my value, 100 naira or 100 million. And I'm selling 10 million or 30% shares or whatever. But at the moment, you don't even know what the value of NMTC is. So how can you go public?
Okay. Okay, one last time, please.
Because whether you make it under the present KAMA, you can register a limited liability company with one shareholder. It's allowed by law. No. One can be a shareholder of a limited liability company under KAMA of today. Under KAMA of today. Yes. Now, what I'm saying that NMPC should be PLC because it should have more than one shareholder.
I need a seconder. No seconder. Who? Okay, Senator Amako.
Mr. President, I move to second the amendment ably proposed by Senator Yusuf. And I do motion.
Distinguished colleagues, we have an amendment motion here for clause 53. If the amendment is positive, it means the 53 is amended. And if it is not, it means the clause is passed as recommended by the committee. I hope that's clear. So those in favor of clause 53, that clause 53 as amended, stands part of the bill, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. Nay. The nays have it. Clause 54, transfer of assets and liabilities. Clause 55, clause 56, clause 57, clause 58, clause 59, and clause 60. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 61, application of principles of corporate governance. Clause 62, clause 63, clause 64, clause 65, 64, Senator Aisha Tadairu Ahmed Binani.
Thank you, Mr. President. Aisha Tadairu Ahmed Binani, representing Adama Central. Your Excellency, this clause 64C, that's page 91 to 92, to lift and sell royalty oil and tax oil on behalf of the Commission and the service, respectively, for an agreed commercial fee. And the case of profits gas payable to the NNPC Limited shall promptly remit the proceed of the sales of the profit oil and profit gas to the Federation at a projected exchange rate. I think here we need to put at a, I'm proposing that we should put at a projected exchange rate to the less it's 30% for the management fee and frontier exploration fund as specified. Reason Your Excellency, one can explore through, let's take for example 3 months. One can explore 3 months in anticipation of the real exploration by the end of that 3 months. So when you are making payment, at least you should make payment at a projected exchange rate, because so that the government can benefit.
Senator Ahmad Babukaita, you raise your hand for seconding, right?
Yes, sir. I still remain Senator Keita, representing Katsina North. I rise to second the amendment ably moved by Senator Binani.
Those in favor that clauses 61 to 63 and 64 as amended stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 65, Clause 66, Clause 67, Clause 68, Clause 69, Clause 70. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 71 on page 102. Petroleum exploration license. Clause 72. Clause 73. Clause 74. Clause 75. Clause 76. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 77 on page 110. Clause 78. Clause 79. Clause 80. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 81 is on page 125, petroleum mining leases. Clause 82, Clause 83, Clause 84, Clause 85, Clause 86, Clause 87, Clause 88, Clause 89, and Clause 90. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 91 is on page 146. Rights of way reserved for the Commission. Clause 92, Clause 93, Clause 94, Clause 95, Clause 96, Clause 97, Clause 98, Clause 99, Clause 100. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. We are on page 171, Clause 101, Clause 102, Clause 103, Clause 104. Okay, amendment, distinguished Senator George Thompson Sekibo.
Your Excellency, clause 1, if you look at clause 52(7)d and 104(4), they are saying the same thing. So it shall be amended exactly with the same words that the DSP gave to us.
Yes, those are affected now.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, those in favor that clauses 101, 102, and 103 and 104 as amended stand part of this bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 105 on page 178. Secretariat, please take note of the amendment. Clause 105, Clause 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120. Those in favor of those clauses stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 121 on page 201. Notice of default prior to revocation. Clause 122, 123, 124, 125, 126, 127, 128, 129, 130. Those in favor of those clauses stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 131 on page 218, 132, 133, 134, 135, 136, 137, 138, 139, 140. Those in favor of those clauses stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 141 on page 230, 142, 143, 144, 145, 146, 147, 148, 149, 150. Those in favor of those clauses stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 151 is on page 240. Sorry, I think you are supposed to bring back the press. Where are you? Oh, okay. I think I'm one-eyed. I'm looking at the direction of Sakibo, most of the time. Sorry. Clause 151, 152, 153, 154, 155, 156, 157, 158, 159, 160. Those in favor of those clauses stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 161 is on page 245. 162, 163, 164, 165, 166, 167, 168, 169, 170. Those in favor of those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 171 is on page 256. 246. No, 256 rather. Clause 171, 172, 173, 174, 175, 176, 177, 178, 179, 180. Those in favor of those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 181, National Strategic Stocks, is on page 265. 182, 183, 184, 185, 186, 187, 188, 189, 190. Those in favor of those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 191 is on page 271. General duties of a petroleum liquids transportation pipeline owner. 191, 192, 193, 194, 195, 196, 197, 198, 199, 200. Those in favor of those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 201 is on page 281. 201, 202, 203, 204, 205, 206, 207, 208, 209, 210. Those in favor of those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 211, power to prevent anti-competitive behavior. 212, 213, 214, 215, 216, 217, 218, 219, 220. Those in favor of those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 221 on page 299. 299. 222, 223, 224, 225, 226, 227, 228, 229, 230. Those in favor of those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 231 on page 306. 306. Clause 231, 232, 233, 234, 235, 236, 237, 238, 239, 240. Those in favor of those clauses, DSP 240, 240 DSP. I will put clauses 231 to 239. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. No, I didn't say 240. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 240. DSP, you want to make an amendment?
Thank you, distinguished Senator, Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues. I am proposing an amendment on item number 240, sources of funding for better. 240, subsection 2, sir. Each sector where applicable through the operator shall make an annual contribution to the applicable host community development trust fund of an amount equal to 3% instead of 2.5% of its actual operating expenditure. No, but here is 2.5%. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, well, instead, the amendment is just instead of 5% to read 3%. No, let's be fair now. The managing director has, and the minister have explained all this, so we don't need to go back on this.
I need a seconder. Senator Gobir.
Excellency, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion presented by Bapa Kaita. I so second.
I will have to make it, put the question on the amendment first. Which information? Okay, information.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's just to give an additional information on why the committee's recommendations changed from 2.5 to 5%. Yes, that this bill places responsibility on the safety of assets on the host community with a proviso that if there is any incident that affects any of those assets outside the course of God or technical, that the funds from the host community trust fund will be used to remedy those assets. So it is an additional responsibility on the host asset. Number two, that is just an information, sir.
It's okay, I will put the question now. Distinguished colleagues, page 240, sources of funding for Petroleum Host Communities Development Trust. Those in favor of this clause as amended, that it stands part of the bill, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. Nay. The ayes have it. Page amendment, Senator James, a board manager. Okay, clause 41, 241, clause 242, clause 242, clause 243, amendment to 240. No, it's okay.
This is an additional amendment, Mr. Chairman, seated as President. Take it down from 2 to 3% that he recommended. Not more than 5%, not less than 3%. That's my amendment.
I need a seconder. Senator Okoyeki.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Senator Akoniyan, representing Akwa Ibom South Senatorial District. I rise to second the motion ably made by Senator Manager. Amendment, the additional amendment.
Okay, distinguished colleagues, please. Distinguished colleagues, here is the explanation, my understanding of the amendment being sought. Senator James Manager has come up with an amendment. So if we vote, if you want the amendment to stand, you vote yes. That is amending what we have passed, the amendment brought by Senator Kaita of 3%. If you don't want the amendment, you vote no. Is that clear? And have I captured the essence of your amendment? Okay, so if you want the amendment by Senator James Manager that you change the 3% to not less than 3% and not more than 5%, that is the amendment being sought, then you will vote yes. If you don't want, if you want to retain the 3% as passed already, the amendment brought by Senator Keita, then you vote no. Is that clear? Okay. So those in favor that clause 240 as amended by Senator James Manager, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. Nay. The nays have it. Amendment DSP.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to further amend section 242 to read, to include a proviso. To include a proviso. To include a proviso. Yes, in the bill. The proviso shall read, nothing herein shall be construed to impose 242, to impose on the wait now, Mr. President, provided these provisos are provided that nothing herein shall be construed to impose on the host communities the obligation to provide security for the assets of the settler company. And I will explain why. Yeah.
Distinguished colleagues, please, I appealed to all of us at the beginning. We listen to our colleagues in silence. If anybody is proposing an amendment, we should listen. We have two choices, either to support or oppose. So we don't have to shout at anything. We support or we oppose. So I need a seconder. Distinguished Senator Ayo Patrick Ekin-Elure.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to support the amendment as moved by the DSP. Thank you.
Those in favor of the amendment being sought by the DSP, say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. Nay. The nays have it. Point of order, Jetty Secretary.
Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I am Senator George Thompson Sekebo. I represent the Rivers East Central District. Mr. President, on the last vote, I'm not satisfied that the yeas have it. So I'm calling for a division, and I'm coming through Order 73. If you allow me, I read it. I'm calling for a division. If you allow me, I read it.
It is his right, not short him.
No, it is my right. It's my right.
You may read it.
Any senator may challenge the opinion of the president or the chairman or the chairman by claiming a division. 2. If the opinion of the president of the Senate or in the committee of the whole Senate, the chairman as to the division of a question is challenged, the president of the Senate or the chairman shall direct that the lobbies be cleared, and on such direction being given, all doors leading to the chamber shall be locked, and the division bell shall be rung for 1 minute. After a lapse of 2 minutes from the direction to clear the lobbies, the president of the Senate or the chairman shall put the question a second time. And if his opinion is again challenged, a division shall be taken by the clerk. Shall be taken by the clerk, calling each senator's name and asking each senator separately how he desires to vote and recording the vote accordingly. The clerk thereafter reads the names and announce the number of those who have voted for and against the proposal. And the president or the chairman shall declare the results of the division. Mr. President,
it doesn't matter.
I am calling that let the procedure for a division be taken, and let's have a division.
Leader.
Mr. President, with all sense of responsibility, my heart bleeds, Mr. President. This Senate has come a long way. We have never treated ourselves and behaved in the way that distinguished Senator Sekebo wants us to do today. We are embarking on a very, very dangerous journey that will hurt the unity that we have cherished, the unity on the basis of which we have moved this Senate and moved this nation to come to this point. We have just celebrated a very successful end to a 2-year surgery. Out of the 4 years for which we have been elected by the Nigerian people. The unity that we have forged in this Senate is the envy of all our traducers. It is the envy of all those people who do not wish this nation well. To now start embarking or dividing ourselves along direction and along lines and along certain fault lines that could cause division and disunity for this country, I think that is a path to Armageddon. So I appeal to my brother and friend. I appeal to my brother and friend, distinguished Senator George Sekebo, to please withdraw this point of order and allow us to continue.
Let me say this. We are definitely representatives of the people, before anything. I just want to remind us of what we know, that we represent, we legislate, and we oversight. And as I mentioned, represent first, because that is the primary purpose of being in Parliament. And today, we are practicalizing that. In every parliament across the world, you get divergent ideas, whether in terms of party, in terms of where people are coming from, and so on and so forth. What makes a parliament function and function well is how the parliamentarians are able to build bridges, to make compromises, and show understanding. That is what makes the parliament work. Let me remind us of an amendment we have just done. When the DSP came up with an amendment seeking that all the gas flaring funds should go to the communities, I'm sure we all understood that these communities need this kind of attention and this kind of resource, isn't it? And the amendment was carried without any resistance. So this is the spirit that we need to continue with. So it is the right of every senator here to call for division. It's your right. But I want to appeal that what we have been educated about this afternoon or this morning by the GMD gives us better ideas. This 3%, I know, may not be exactly what some of our colleagues want. But what is of consolation is that movement. At least the Senate did not pass 2.5%. It passed something slightly higher than 2.5%. I wish we could have done more. But that is the reality, and we are stuck with that. So I want to appeal that please, distinguished Senator George Thompson Sekibo, I will join the leader to appeal to you and all of us that we should not insist on dividing the Senate. I don't know whether this appeal is going to be considered or not, but it's your right, my brother, Senator Sekibo.
Mr. President, you know naturally we've known ourselves in this chamber from 2007. And I also know that it is the privilege of every parliamentarian all over the world to call for division when he feels that what is being obtained is wrong. But as the senior president, if you appeal to me something on personally, and I did not take it, do not be in the last mood. But I will say something. 2 suggestions. It may work, it wouldn't work. What I'm asking for is not for me as a person, but it's for the interest of this nation. Because when we pass a good law, we must also have a good environment to implement the law. If the environment is not conducive for the implementation, we will all come back to also regret. That is my thinking. So can I appeal to you, sir?
Put the question on 4.
That you increase the number a little bit and put the question again. Let's have a compromise, sir. But I have withdrawn. I have withdrawn. I'm only appealing to you.
Instead,
Yes.
you will.
What point of order? No, there cannot be point of order on this one is decided. There cannot be any point of order on this one decided. Oh, sir, I'm sorry, sir.
Distinguished colleagues, let me, on behalf of all of us, thank distinguished Senator George Thompson Sakibo for his statesmanship, for withdrawing his earlier call for division. I'm sure we still have some other issues that will bring us to agree on. But since we have voted, I will urge that we should allow the voting. No more point of order, Senator Keita. The idea of increasing something, we are past that stage. We had the discussions and we voted. So I will appeal that we make progress, please. No. Yes. That's why I want the Senate to move. Senator Albert.
Let me say that, Mr. President, your emergence as the Senate President of this 9th Senate, United the Senate. And I must confess that you have led the Senate without any form of bias. Nigeria is represented in this chamber. And we have built consensus from the first section of this bill to where we are today. I don't want just a simple section of a bill to jeopardize all the efforts that we have displayed since we came into this chamber on the 9th of June. Mr. President, I want to assure you that you still earn our respect, you still earn our support, and you have earned our trust. What we are appealing to you is that it is good to pass a good law. It is also good to ensure that the law that we have passed in the 4 walls of this chamber is easily, effectively, and peacefully implemented. Mr. President, you have borne the consciousness of even the host community in the Niger Delta. And based on the presentation of the GMD, today, the host community might be in the Niger Delta. But as we speak today, in the next couple of months, our people in Bauchi and Gombe will equally join the host community. So, Mr. President, there are 2 things, sir. One is that the unity of this Senate is more important and more valuable to each and every one of us here. Therefore, in achieving that unity, Mr. President, a shift will not change the situation. We quite agree, even if we have not passed it, even if you have passed it, even a rule book says you can come under a substantive motion. But we are still considering the report. So, Mr. President, please listen to the James Manager. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, my highly respected colleagues, don't see this as a stalemate at all. Agree this is democracy in action. Mr. President, we are now talking about a people that have sacrificed a lot for this country. Mr. President, no amount of percentage we put in this particular law that will be too much for these people we are talking about. You have, Mr. President, in 2012, you were seated somewhere there, and you were very passionate about what was happening in the Northeast region.
I brought emotion.
I almost wept At the end of the day, the then presiding officer, Senator David Mark, had to invite you for a discussion because everybody was moved by your deep show of emotion. I am not from the Northeast region. David Mark is not from the Northeast region. At the same time, so many of our colleagues, not from there, but we were moved. Mr. President, look at us. You are our president, we voted for you. And therefore, Niger Delta people voted for you. Mr. President, this is law. This thing we're talking about is not coming to the pockets of anybody here. Everything is defined. And for the first time in all interventions in the Niger Delta region, this is the particular one that will go direct to the oil-bearing communities. Mr. President, this is a very serious matter. We are talking about 5%. The 5% is not too much. You have headed this place very well. We admire your administrative style. We agree with you on almost every issue. This one is a very naughty one, Mr. President. Very naughty. You are our leader. We are your followers. Please, Mr. President, lead us very well. This particular case that is before us is something that is very bitter for us to swallow. A very bitter pill for us to swallow. My respected colleagues from outside of the Niger Delta region, just like Senator Albert Akpan said, very soon, by the grace of God Almighty, who provides for everybody, including Kogi, you could become an oil-producing community, oil-producing state one day. This is law, not just for today, but for also tomorrow. Please bear with us. Please bear with us. The 5% is not too much. It's never too much, Mr. President.
Senator Balana Allah.
Thank you very much. Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, I am exceedingly delighted by the fact that from 1999 to date, distinguished Senator James Manager has been very, very, very much around in this institution. And I do not want to believe that there is anyone who has more stake in protecting this institution than my brother and friend, distinguished Senator James Obion Manager. Happily enough, right from the House of Representatives, distinguished Senator Sekibo has been around, to my knowledge, from 2003 till date, and has been my ally for a very long period of time. There are times when your loyalty to the people who elected you will be called to question. But in those times, patriots have always exhibited one very rare exhibition that continues to give them that aura of leadership, responsibility, and commitment to national unity and integration. One of those situations is what calls upon them to place national interests above regional interest. Mr. President, you know that you have tasked all of us to be fair, to be just, to be considerate in determining the PIP bill.
Luckily for us, the chairman of the Northern Senators Forum called us and he said, we must show every level of understanding to our colleagues from the Niger Delta. I'm happy with that, and I thank you, distinguished Senator Wamako, for that appeal. Let me say that that rule has a condition precedent, and they know. He, manager, knows, distinguished Senator Sekibo knows. You must first of all formally challenge the ruling before you can invoke the procedure. And I'm sure, wait, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. And you know that procedurally in parliament, you cannot jump the gun. And Sekibo knows that his own position does not conform with the intendment of the provision of that rule. He knows. Let me try my best to say that we must never exhibit to Nigerians that we are incapable of offering the desired leadership at this critical moment of our history. So to call for division.
No, it's okay. Distinguished colleagues, I think we have taken enough of the point of order. We have to make progress, but let me thank once again Senator Sekibo for his understanding. We are past the stage of standing order division. What we need to do is to, in my opinion, continue with this. If we are not able to change it now, let's make some further efforts at another time. I don't know, as shortly as possible, because we had done this before with the finance bill. We passed the finance bill. In fact, maybe 2-3 months. Senator Adiola, how many months?
3 months later, we call for amendment of some of the provisions.
3 months later, we had an amendment of the finance bill. And I want to take this opportunity to appeal to all of us. This is not the be all and all. We still have other opportunities. Let's make progress and continue with this, but let's keep it in view that we will still try to talk to ourselves if after even passing, what can we do? So please, we make progress. Thank you. Clause 241, Clause 242, Clause 243, Clause 244, Clause 245, Clause 246, Clause 247, Clause 248, Clause 249, Clause 250. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 251, 252, 253, 254, 255, 256, 257, 258, 259, 260. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 261 on page 346. Clause 262, Clause 263, Clause 264, Clause 265, Clause 266, Clause 267, Clause 268, Clause 269, Clause 270. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Clause 271 is on page 365. Clause 271, Clause 272, Clause 273, Clause 274, Clause 275, Clause 276, Clause 277, Clause 278, Clause 279, Clause 280. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 281 on page 383. Clause 282, Clause 283, Clause 284, Clause 285, Clause 286, Clause 287, Clause 288, Clause 289, Clause 290. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 291, Clause 292, Clause 293, Clause 294, Clause 295, Clause 296, Clause 297, Clause 298, Clause 299, Clause 300. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 301 on page 406, Clause 302, Clause 303, Clause 304, Clause 305, Clause 306, Clause 307, Clause 308, Clause 309, Clause 310. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 311 on page 423, Clause 312, Clause 313, Clause 314, Clause 315, Clause 316, Clause 317, Clause 318, Clause 319. Those in favor that those clauses stand part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The interpretation. Those in favor that the interpretation stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The short title. Those in favor that the short title stands part of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The schedules. Schedule 1. Deputy Chief Whip.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Aliu Sabi Abdullahi, Niger North. Mr. President, at Schedule 1, that is page 480. Schedule 1A, B were deleted. And the reason is given in the marginal, the last column, to state that this clause could be abused, and that ideally such powers should only be applied under a state of emergency. In the same meaning, I would like us to look at, under the same fourth schedule, clause 8 at page 482, which says the minister may take control of any works, because the same condition was what was deleted here. So I'm also moving that clause 8 should also be deleted. That is page 482. Yes, because it's the same principle that applied to the one that was earlier, also deleted, which says the minister may have the right to require the insider of any license or licensee, also as a licensee or licensee, to provide for the federal government to the extent. So I think it's something that, so I'm suggesting that clause be deleted.
Senator Sadiq Suleiman, Umar Suleiman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to second the amendment as amended by Senator Aliu Sabi.
Thank you very much. Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that Schedule 1 as amended, Schedule 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum stands part of, no explanatory memorandum. Those in favor that the long title on page 1 stands part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise to move a motion for the chair to report progress. I so move.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so second.
Colleagues, those in favor that the Senate reverse to plenary for the chair to report progress, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Joint Committee on Petroleum Downstream, Petroleum Upstream and Gas on the Petroleum Industry Bill 2021 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended, clauses 1 to 31 as recommended, clauses 32 to 33 as amended, clauses 34 to 47 as recommended, clause 48 as amended, clauses 49 to 51 as recommended, clause 52 as amended, clauses 53 to 63 as recommended, clause 64 as amended, clauses 65 to 103 as recommended, clause 104 as amended, clauses 105 to 239 as recommended, clause 240 as amended, clauses 241 to 317 as recommended. Is this interpretation as recommended, short title as recommended, schedule 1 as amended, schedules 2 to 8 as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Thank you. Leader of the Senate.
President, I rise to move a motion that petroleum bill be read this time. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Engineer Baribe. I represent Abia South. I rise to second the motion that the petroleum industry bill be read a third time. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in favor that this bill be now read the third time, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide for legal governance, regulatory and fiscal framework for the Nigerian petroleum industry, the development of host communities, and for related matters 2021, SB 510, third reading.
A bill for an act to provide legal governance, regulatory and fiscal framework for the Nigerian petroleum industry, the development of host communities, and for related matters 2021 third reading taken, and the bill is passed. Well, distinguished colleagues, let me thank all of us for this tremendous and historical achievement of passing the long-awaited petroleum industry bill. Let me also particularly commend our joint committee, the leadership, Senator Sabana Kudu, Senator Albert Basi Akpan, Senator James Ibo Manager, for giving leadership to the committee membership to work so hard with zeal and patriotism to get the report to this Senate. I must commend the leadership of the House of Representatives too for providing leadership in the House to ensure that our two committees, the joint committees in the Senate and the House, work together to produce the report that we have just passed. Let me say that the 9th Senate, and indeed the 9th National Assembly, has achieved one of its fundamental items on the legislative agenda. We promise Nigerians that we will do our best to pass the petroleum industry bill that have then so far at that time defied passage or defied assent. At least the demons have been defeated in this chamber. We have passed the bill by the grace of God. And let me also say that this is one of the products of the executive and the legislature working together. Right from the inception of this bill, the executive side of government, led by the Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, have worked so closely with our joint committee. And indeed today, to cap it all, we invited the team to come here and give us more information, education, and enlightenment to enable us undertake this very important and historic assignment. If anybody doubts how executive legislature partnership, consultation, and mutual respect can help a nation grow, this event of passing this bill must convince that person. Finally, I want to assure the petroleum industry in Nigeria that what we have passed is a very good balance of giving them the kind of clement environment for them to not only stay here, but even bring more foreign investors into the oil and gas industry in Nigeria. This environment, with the passage of this bill, has become better, is going to be more competitive and rewarding to businesses. As for what we are expecting from the executive side of government is, we are expecting a presidential signature. We are expecting Mr. President to sign into law this petroleum industry bill that the Senate and of course the House have passed. This is one product that is not a solo effort product. It's a product of cooperation and partnership between the legislature, the National Assembly, and the executive arm of government. So we shouldn't waste any more time. As soon as it gets to the villa, to Mr. President, we expect that this bill will be signed into law. And congratulations to all Nigerians. Thank you very much. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise to... No, you adjourn. You adjourn.
Oh, sorry. I don't need the leader anymore. Okay, for now, I don't need the leader. Thank God it's not the chief whip that I say I don't need. Distinguished colleagues, with those remarks, the Senate is hereby adjourned. Is it 6? It's 6. The Senate is hereby adjourned till 6 July 2021 at 10 a.m. prompt. Thank you.
problem we have in now.
Yes.
They don't see you doing anything.
They don't see.
They don't see you doing anything. It's about them and I don't get blood for body. You will not get blood.
Abi.